Once again, who the hell would have
What
thought? We're going to talk about planning,
planning?
to plan or not to plan, and how do you plan? You
To
know,
plan or not to plan? That is the question.
that is the question. And just keep watching, and you'll know what we have to say about it.
Exactly. Hey everyone, my name is Justin.
And I'm Eddie,
Welcome to the Queer Network.
and this is Queer Talk.
That was
You're very jockish looking today.
it. Yeah. You're very blue.
I'm very blue. I decided it's not a blue day, but it's
Not
not.
in that way. Actually, it's like a nice blue. It's like a very warm blue.
Yeah, yeah, soft blue.
Yeah, like I didn't even mean it like, oh, you're having such a blue day. It's like, why did blue ever get that rap?
I don't know.
Feeling blue? What's wrong with feeling blue?
Exactly. Should be
Blue is nice.
should be feeling black.
Yeah. But then even that, I think we all have different. Wow, this mic is way too high. There we go. It's like eating it.
You know, it's funny, just like our talks. I used to plan like, okay, what am I gonna wear? And now I'm just like, okay, I just go into my closet and what do I feel like? That's it.
Which is just so much more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, planning is great, but it doesn't leave a lot of. Sometimes it can hold us captive. Plans. Yesterday, I was chatting with Nikita, and we said plans are mere suggestions for the present moment. And I like that because it leaves some space for discovery in the present moment rather than holding on so closely to a plan. Like kind of the way we used to think of plans, maybe, or
Yeah.
at least I used to.
I like that, but wouldn't it make more sense to say plans are merely a way of suggesting future moments?
Yeah, it's funny. We said that too. We're like, actually, it's about plans are about the future. So plans, a mere suggestion for the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you hold so tightly to a plan, it leaves little space for like what you discover along the way, which often informs, just as like it's not necessarily like have a plan, great, but be open to the plan changing. At least that's what I'm learning.
I learned that many years ago because in my younger years,
Hmm.
um, you know, I even now, like I mean, I'm not as busy as I used to be, but I'm a planner. And
Hmm.
I like to put in my calendar. In fact, I was just talking to a friend, and it's like, okay, like, when are you coming to visit? And I suggested a weekend. He said, well, let me check my schedule. I said, well, let me know because I'm a planner and I like to plan these things.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is when I was younger, I used to like, make plans for like a Friday or Saturday night because, you couldn't not be doing something on a Friday or Saturday night
Right.
or at any time. And when somebody canceled or it didn't happen, I used to get really upset. And it was like, then inevitably it becomes clear why it didn't happen because
Hmm.
something else happened to take its place,
Yeah.
or nothing happened and you just spent the time on your own. But
Yeah.
so many people are so afraid to be on their own, to spend time on their own, to be with themselves. They have to be plan. I gotta do something. I gotta be like it shows my worth to be, to be doing something or to be social or whatever. It's great to plan, but like you just said,
Yeah.
don't be attached to that plan because things change and
And would you
something better will come along, or what is supposed to be will happen. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
know that part for sure? Would you also say that, would you also agree that like once upon a time we had to plan more because we didn't have the technology that we have now that allows us to basically like communicate with anybody instantly? Whereas
Yeah.
before, I remember we had to like we would make a plan for Friday but never talk until then, like with the person you made the plan with, because you wouldn't see them until then. And why would you call them like on a random? We just didn't do that in the same way.
Listen, I was around the time when we didn't even have answering machines.
Hmm.
So you had to, connect with somebody when they were home, when they could answer the phone,
Exactly.
So yeah, you'd make a plan, and yeah. Yeah, and I'm pretty much like, I am one of there are many people which I don't like, and I don't think is very respectful, who will just cancel at the last minute just
Hmm.
because they don't feel like it, or something better came along. No, I don't.
Yeah, I think that's a tough one, because sometimes sticking to the plan puts you second, because you've put the plan in front of you, whatever you might need in that moment. And that's where it's like, how do you deal with that? It's really the honor system of the person, because I would disagree with you a little bit in that I want to give people grace, that whatever they need in that moment is what they need in that moment, and I don't know what that is for them. But it it will inevitably be slightly disrespectful to the person that you've made that plan with, because they planned for that
Right.
thing to happen with you. But
Listen, yes, but things come up, and you're legitimately not feeling well,
yeah,
or you know the plan that you had was with someone that maybe you see on a regular basis, and something like amazing, you got invited to this thing, and like, that's fine, you
right.
know be understanding and flexible. But you're right. I mean, when you are a planner, you don't make any other plans because you've planned something.
Yeah.
So when somebody cancels, it's like, I, I don't know.
And
Again,
maybe that's also a part of like this new technology that we have. People just feel it's a lot easier to be like, oh, we didn't confirm, so I didn't think it was happening, type stuff. And so we say words, but like they don't really feel real until it's been like triple, quadruple confirmed for some people. And it's interesting. Like, I don't know if it's that, it's confusing is what it is.
this opens up a big can of worms, because to me it's about, because everything is so instant.
Yes.
Oh, I think that and because people seem to be more and more, what's the right word? What's the word for, like, into themselves, more self-absorbed?
Yeah.
Maybe people are more self-absorbed, that they don't necessarily think of how it might affect the other person. I
Right.
just think it's, if I think it's just disrespectful if you make a plan, and however, having said that, let me just go to the other side, which it wouldn't be an episode of Queer Talk if I didn't talk about the universe,
Yep.
and and trust. And
Yeah.
that's most of the time what I do now. Even if somebody cancels at the last minute, it's like, okay, because you know what? I enjoy being on my own. I enjoy my own company, and what I do. And even if it means, okay, it's just a night to watch Netflix,
Yep.
you know, so it's trusting again
Mm-hmm.
the universe,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and what it wants for you in that moment or that time. It's like, okay, I'm not meant to get together for that person. Who knows? Who knows what could have happened as a result of that get together, It's
Yeah.
anyway. So I'm sort of full circle here. It does bother me, or it has bothered me more in the past,
Yeah.
but not so much now.
Yeah. I would say I as somebody who has spent a lot of my life, I don't want to say being too busy, but filled my life with a lot of things all the time. I'm noticing that I overcommit to things, which then often ends up meaning I do have to cancel or change the plans. sometimes last minute, but I try to catch it sooner than last minute, so it's not, changing someone's day completely. But that's been its own lesson for me, realizing that even though it's easy to just say yes to everything in the moment, then it actually ends up being um harder to cancel things later, or more disappointing, rather than just not saying yes to everything. And
But
that has been a lesson for me, for sure.
let me call you on that one. It's like I don't I don't see how someone over plans. If you plan something, you write it in your calendar. I mean, if you're just relying on your memory, which a lot of people do,
Yeah.
I'm always telling people like write it in your calendar, you
Yeah.
know. And so if you write in your calendar before you commit to saying something, so I said, let me check my calendar. I mean, I've done it a couple of times, but I caught myself. I've then looked in my calendar like 2 hours later and said, oh my God, I'm sorry. I should have looked in my calendar,
Yeah.
which is what I'm just saying now. So if you do that, so how is it that I'm asking
It,
you,
it,
how is it that you
it's
overplan?
it's not necessarily double booking. It's like filling the whole day from top to bottom, thinking that it all works in the schedule, but then there's no room for, kind of back to what we said at the beginning, for what happens in life. And for example, like last night was a rough night for me, and I didn't expect to wake up later today, because it felt like I had a cold, and also I was like, is it allergies? And I don't it's been a weird last couple of weeks for me personally and my body. And so that, if my whole day is planned, but going through that whole day is different when you're dealing with some sort of body issue, or you're sick, or whatever the case may be. Now, those are some obvious examples, but I think still, I'm learning that just because you've slotted everything in, it all works, doesn't mean there won't be times that the plan has to change because of something else that comes up in the moment. And that is, I think, what I'm realizing for myself, and why I brought it up, was that I don't actually want to be that busy.
Right.
I don't actually want to have that full of a schedule. And I get, we talked about this last week too, like sometimes life is busy because you got to make money and you got to like hustle and do like go for it. But that is not sustainable forever.
Yeah. But then I would say to you then, you know, if you are an a planner and you schedule things in, I mean, to me, unless it's a work thing, which, sometimes you have to do because you have appointment after appointment, and sometimes, appointments go longer. But, when it's maybe on a social schedule or something, then you just have to I would just say you just have to get better at scheduling, at planning, and or don't plan so much, like
Yeah.
you just said, you
Don't
know,
commit to so
don't
much.
commit.
Yeah.
You could say to the person, look, I'm getting together with this person and I don't know how long it's going to last, and I would love to see you after, but I can't guarantee a time or if it is even going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's up to the other person. Okay, well, that's cool, then something comes up, I'm going to plan something else, because it's
Exactly.
that person the option. So, oh my God, so
And as you can tell, and we love this about each other. We bring different perspectives to this because we both live our lives in different ways, but we also align on many things. So it's a conversation where you can sense, I can sense at least, the nuance of planning, and that there's a lot of ways to see this. At the end of the day, though, it is about being respectful to yourself and respectful to the people around you. That's what it comes down to.
you just took the exact words I meant, but I was going to say being respectful to other people, but you added, which is good, to be respectful to yourself
Hmm.
and other people, which is great. So we'll see you next week for we have no idea.
We have no idea, but we know it's going to be something you need to hear, because
Exactly.
it's something we got to say. We're only going to know then.
And we always keep it queer.
Exactly. Because that's who we are.
Yeah. So it's queer planning.
Queer planning. Have fun, y'all.
People need to be more aware of how they plan and how it affects other people and how it affects themselves.
Yes.
And that's what this is about, you
Yeah.
know?
There's no like right or wrong. It is just more about being respectful of both sides of the equation. And you have to be honest in order to honest with yourself and honest with the other people in order to get through it without there being chaos.
Yeah. And honestly, with social media now, and with the ways that we connect, there's no excuses. There's no like, oh, I'm sorry I couldn't get a hold of you because, you know, you weren't home. That's the way,
Right.
you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But no, there's no excuse. There's, you know, I would venture to say that most people all over the world have a phone now.
Yep.
And you can text them or WhatsApp them or email them or something. So there is no excuse to not be respectful
And communicate.
and communicate.
A little extra nugget for y'all.
Little extra nuggets. We love our nuggets.
We do. That's why we do this.
Bye-bye.